Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
On a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and tonight, like every single Wednesday night, we are breaking down the starts and sits, but with a little twist. If you've had both of these players, which one are you starting? As in, these could possibly both be on your team. So this isn't a normal start-sit show like we've been normally doing. This is a more dynamic way to do things. We are heading into week 3. This is a pivotal week. If you started 0-2, no worries, my friend. We're here to fix that, to get you on that win column. But before we go any further, let's bring in my co-host, my buddy, my pal, my new BFF since Dirtbag Dave abandoned me, Justin Bowerly. What's going on?
What's going on? Just ready to talk about more fantasy football.
Every day, all day, baby. That's what we do. We already got people filing into the chat. We got Anthony Mazzano already showing up. What's going on, Anthony? Please, if you're new to the show or if you're just joining me, please hit that like button, subscribe either at Finstock Sports Network, more importantly, at OUSFF on YouTube. Make sure you go to our website, OUSFFpod.com. Follow us on our socials. Our social media team is freaking dynamic, killer. My notifications be popping off all day long. Thanks, Sean. You've been a big help. They really have. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? We're on top of things. That's all I can tell you.
At this point, I don't even have to keep notes on what's happening in the NFL. I just go back to our group chat and I'm like, okay, let's just read all of the news that he's been posting today, which is exactly what I just did in preparation because I took no notes before this. So,
oh wow, my whole day was this, or my whole day this past 2 weeks have been this: working at my real job, typing away, looked at my phone, 120 text messages. What is happening? And that's just been my life. So fantasy's been all of our life. So without further ado, I do want to get right into tonight's show.
Do you want to do any injury news, or do you want to talk about Friday?
We can. You know what?
We can talk about a Friday. We still have a Friday show.
Midweek. Let's kill some time. Let's talk some news.
All right. I'm just going to literally go in order of what was posted today. Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce were both not seen at practice today. So that's fun for them. They are missing both running backs. Jordan Love has returned to practice. He is still doubtful for Sunday against the Titans. Raheem Mostert has returned to practice. It's good for the Dolphins backfield. Justin Herbert and Josh Palmer did not practice today. That's significant, but they're probably both sitting on your bench anyway. Kenneth Walker is we will see what happens this Sunday. So that's fun.
Speaking of Kenneth Walker, I'm going to interrupt you because I got an interesting trade offer in one of my home leagues where I'm 1-1. Chris Godwin is my wide receiver 3 to put in context there. I believe I am stacked with Marvin Harrison and Devontae Adams as my 1 and 2. I believe. I'm in 1,000 leagues, so that might not be true. Either way, I am thin at running back. I got offered straight up Kenneth Walker, but I got to give straight up Chris Godwin. And I'm kind of in a pickle because I don't know what to do. And I'm going to ask you. I asked Dave earlier this morning. He said long-term or short-term. I said it's one of our leagues, so I don't really want to give you the league. It is because it's a competitive league. So which one would you take? And he said Godwin for now. Where do you go?
I think I would lead Godwin also. He's absolutely killing it, especially if this is a redraft league, then I'd go Godwin. If it's a dynasty, you might think Kenneth Walker. It also depends on who your running backs are because Kenneth Walker is a good player when he's playing. So if you have the ability to get rid of a running back, then I would go Godwin.
Am I pixelated?
Yes.
My internet has been intermittent for the past 2 weeks, as in it goes in and out. I've hung up on so many people today on my virtual phone at work. And I'm sorry for everyone that I took calls with. And Dirtbag Dave here. Anyway, you can continue with the news.
Yeah, where was I at? CeeDee Lamb did not practice today with his knee injury, so that's pretty significant. Also, A.J. Brown did not practice today. We expected that. I'm expecting him to also miss again this weekend. No news on Evan Ingram that I've seen. He is just questionable for this weekend. So, Dave, why does Josh look like he's pixelated in the 1990s video game? I just saw that comment. Now
Am I still
understand.
pixelated?
I mean, we'll work on it.
Spectrum, bro. It's been like this for 2 weeks. Stop. Like, we got to fix it. That's all I got to say. I paid them way too much, $36 a month for cable and internet. And it's you give me this? All right. Continue.
That's all the news. That's all I got.
That's all the news. All right. Well, let's get into starts.
got.
Let's get into the starts and sits then. Well, I guess we're going to start off with the quarterback situation. We're going Baker Mayfield versus the Denver Broncos, or Brock Purdy versus the Los Angeles Rams. One is the quarterback, one in fantasy right now. Who would have thunk it? Not us, because we're idiots. And Brock Purdy is the quarterback, 18 right now. He's going against the Rams. So I'm going to lead this off with you because I don't want to get the heat because I know you're a big Purdy guy. Where are we going here, Purdy or Baker? I don't know. It's so funny.
This, as we like to have dubbed, this is the YouTube comment special. Apparently, we got a lot of flack about Purdy and Mayfield in our past. I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield, the tried and true QB1. Like, you can't go against that. I don't know how you can. And they're going against the Broncos. So the Broncos aren't the best team. It is what it is. I'm just going to say it. And Brock Purdy's also missing Deebo Samuel this week. Brandon Ayuk has not shown up to play actual football yet. You got Jordan Mason, who is a running back. He's not a pass catching back like CMC is. So his weapons are a lot more limited, whereas Baker still has Mike Evans. He has Chris Godwin. He's got Rashad White. He's got Bucky Irving. He's got a lot of options out there that are legitimate threats that are showing up that are playing football today.
Who was limited, you said? I'm not joking. This is not a joke. Who's limited? Purdy?
Purdy doesn't have as many options as I think Mayfield has. Okay.
So he's the Michael Pittman of quarterbacks, you would say. Mayfield is tied with the league of passing touchdowns with 5 with Derek Carr. So the NFC South is dominating through the air. So that's a huge thing. I think Baker also has 1 touchdown on the ground. We saw the scrambling abilities. Purdy has that. He just doesn't do it. Purdy hasn't reached over 15 rushing yards all season in a game, 11 and 12 from week 1 and week 2. Not really much of a huge rushing upside, whereas Baker can get out of the pocket and make some moves, as he does do, as he's a playmaker. My biggest thing is they're going against Denver, and you can say they're not good. You can say they're bad. I understand. But they held Geno Smith to 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. They held Justin Fields to 117 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. The leading receiver for those teams, DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 29 yards. George Pickens, 2 catches, 29 yards. That may be a Pat Surtain situation more than an overall Denver Broncos defense. But I would keep that in mind when starting Baker this week, because we've seen Mike Evans get shut down by dominant cornerbacks in the past, like Marshawn Lattimore. He gets frustrated easily. And if Baker can't get him the ball downfield because he's being covered, that leaves underneath passes to Chris Godwin and the rookies, and, of course, Bucky Irvin and Rashad White, if Rashad White's good to go. That might limit Baker's upside there. So I'm kind of worried on that front if Mike Evans does get shut down. And that's a big concern of mine, at least.
Yeah, but you can't only bracket Mike Evans, though. That's the thing. So, like, if you do cover Mike Evans more, you still have Chris Godwin, like you said. You still have the other options out there. And then they have to switch the field to Chris Godwin, which then opens up Mike Evans. So it's...
I understand that, and I definitely do. I'm not laughing at you. It's just like apparently my camera's from the 1990s, which is my audio the same as that, as the 90s as well?
No, your audio is fine.
All right, cool. Well, I see these commercials on YouTube saying that StreamYard can edit it afterwards. So we're good to go, guys. StreamYard could take it out. That's what I saw in the commercials. But back to my whole point about Baker Mayfield, he is going to be limited if Mike Evans is limited. That's his whole game. Chris Godwin's not going to take over, score 100 or receive 120 yards and 2 touchdowns like Big Mike can do. Chris Godwin's more of a 8 catches, 80 yards. Hopefully he gets a touchdown. Now this year, Chris Godwin, and I know we're not debating receivers, has 2 touchdowns on the year. He had 2 touchdowns all of last year. So we can see the focus is going towards Chris Godwin. If that continues.
Let's not trash wide receiver 1 right now. I mean, the Buccaneers have QB1 and wide receiver 1 on their team.
No, I'm not. Really, and I'm not trying to mean this in a demeaning way, but they did play Washington week 1 where Baker threw 4 of his 5 touchdown passes, the same defense that Daniel Jones just ate up, right? Let's not get it twisted here. I'm not hating on Baker. This is not a Baker bash fest. And I'm not even saying start Brock Purdy. Let's go to Brock Purdy. He leads the NFL in passing yards. He's number 1 in passing yards. He's 18 on fantasy because he only has 1 passing touchdown. And again, rushing touchdowns and only 25 yards rushing on the ground. The yardage are there. It's just, is he ever going to get into the end zone? Is he going to have a game where he throws 3 or 4 touchdowns? Is he going to distribute the ball all around the field like he's known to do? His yards per attempt are down just slightly. His yards per attempt, I just said that, yards per attempt are down slightly. His air yards are down slightly. Everything's down slightly, but it's still top 10 material for Brock Purdy and through the air. It's just, can he put it together? He's missing CMC. He's going to miss Debo. This is tough against the Rams. Just for the upside, I think I'm still leaning Baker Mayfield because of the rushing ability, because the playmakers, because he has better offensive pieces around him. It's closer than you guys think. You drafted Purdy above him. You have more stock in Brock Purdy, as you think you should start him because of your draft capital. But at the end of the day, you need to look at Baker Mayfield in the matchup and go, well, it's not as great as we think it is, but hopefully it can be as better as Brock Purdy's. That's why I'm starting Baker Mayfield.
I'm starting Baker. It's honestly, it's no question. Baker is the starter here.
There we go. We agree. Life's better when we agree.
Would you say life is better without Dave? Because he always
life is better if they show and doesn't troll in the comments telling me, yeah, I know Evans had 3 for 42 and Baker still balled. Yeah, because did you see that Baker move? Right? Keep your head on a swivel, freaking looking like Michael Vick out there, scoring that rushing touchdown. That's like an 8-point play. Take those 8 points away. Honestly, that's 8 freaking points to a quarterback. Take that away. What'd he do? I'm not saying Baker's bad, though. And I know people are going to be like, oh, this guy is terrible. He doesn't know what he's talking. No. Let's temper our expectations with Baker. He played a bad Washington team, and he created a lot of plays on the ground with his feet against Detroit, and he did not have a great game against Detroit. He did not. That's just the facts. He only had 1 touchdown. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm starting Baker over Purdy.
Same.
Can we go to the receivers? Another guy who had 6.1 points taken away from Chris Olave versus Jameson Williams. I say that because I think Olave had a decent week last week. He was tackled at the 1-yard line where Kamara just ran it in afterwards. If you give him 6 more points, he's got a 20-point week, and I don't think we're having this argument or this discussion. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to throw it out there because if he gets that touchdown, it's a different story. But we have Chris Olave, wide receiver 52, going against Philadelphia. Jameson Williams, wide receiver 7, going against Arizona. This one's a lot closer than we all think. I know it's going to be a blowaway, JMO this, JMO that, but I want to get your opinion first before we go on to the JMO Love Fest.
This one is hard for me. JMO's production did go down. He had more targets, but he still ended up with the same amount of receptions. Only 5 receptions. It's still not a lot. He didn't score a touchdown, which limited his point total to only 14.4. Olave has increased on less snap counts. He's gotten way more targets. He tripled his target amount. He doubled his reception amount. So I think the Saints know that Chris Olave needs to get more involved in this game. I think Derek Carr is starting to spread the ball around a little bit better. This one I think is a lot closer than a lot of people think. People are going to automatically start Chris Olave. That's a thing because of where they drafted him. And I know you're laughing about something in the comments. Probably.
I'm laughing. Can I leave the stream and come back and see if my internet's better? Because I'm tired of the hate comments already.
Sure.
Justin, take over for like 5 seconds. Hold on.
All right. One of these. There we go. Hi. Hello. Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday. So yeah, as I was saying, Chris Olave, 12.8 points last week. I think this one is a lot closer to starting than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people are instantly going to start Jameson Williams because of his currently 38 points in fantasy football this year so far. Josh is back. It's still not great, but it's better.
Well, I tossed out the old Dell and I got my HP. If you really need me to, I can get my Apple Pro, MacBook. I I don't do computers, but I will say this. I'm sorry for the connection. Spectrum, do better. Stop fumbling the ball at the one. What were you saying? Fill me in, loop me in.
I was talking. I was just honestly filling in time before you came back, talking about how Jameson Williams is wide receiver 7 right now, and Chris Olave is starting to come back, and a lot of people are going to start Chris Olave because they drafted him high as their wide receiver 1, and they don't want to give up on the train yet. It is week 3. That's the thing. It's week 3. So I don't think we can completely overreact based off of 2 weeks. I think if I'm really choosing here, I'm going to go Chris Olave because Jameson Williams week 1 outshined Amon-Ra St. Brown. Are we just expecting Amon-Ra St. Brown to do absolutely nothing all season? I think that St. Brown is going to get more involved back into this offense. Wrong tight end. Laporta's got to get eventually back into this offense. And if we look at last week, St. Brown had nearly 23 points, 11 targets. 19 targets, 11 receptions last week. Yeah, Goff is going to go back his way. If I really had to choose between Jameson Williams and Chris Olave, I think I am going to start Chris Olave this week.
So this one's difficult for me. Jameson Williams, it's like, have you seen that movie Space Jam? Not the new one with LeBron. I'm talking about the one where my internet connection's from way back in the 90s.
Yes.
Those guys,
these guys are going to ruin this clip for YouTube.
I can't do this tonight. Derek, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. You know what? I'm not going to say it. You guys keep on watching the show. Thank you for the support. Patreon.com. It will help me get better internet, apparently. So Jameson Williams, let's get back on track here. He sucked the energy. He took the football and hey, Laporta, Amon-Ra, touch this ball. And he gained their freaking powers, man. Like, I don't understand what's happening. 20 targets, 10 catches a game, or whatever it is, 200 yards. That's like, I think he's already tripled his career yardage in this whole season already. This is bananas. I don't understand what's happening, and I love it because this is the JMO we all drafted in Dynasty, a first-round pick. This is the JMO that the Detroit Lions drafted in the first round in real life. He has the most red zone targets with 5 in the entire NFL. He's got the 5th most routes run in the NFL total. Like, literally only 4 other people have run more routes than him in the NFL. Bananas, right? He's on the field a ton, and he's being targeted. You saw on their last game where it was JMO. Of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown did get injured, was limping around a little bit. Sam Laporta has been a complete non-factor bust, like complete. I know it's only week 2, but it is what it is. If those guys get more involved, we're going to see a smaller slice of the pie, but JMO has this huge ability to make a play at any given time, whereas Olave doesn't really have that. Olave has a Rashid to deal with, who is their JMO, who can make those same plays. Chris Olave averaged 8.6 targets a game last year. 8.6 a game last year. He has 8 total coming into week 3. That's the problem, is the volume, and Rashid's getting involved, and Rashid has 9 targets. So it's not even like he's blowing them away. And again, they don't need to throw the ball. Against Carolina, they had a huge lead. Kamara, Foster Moreau, Kamara. That's how it was. Last week, same situation. Kamara. When they get into a competitive game and when they're behind, I think we're going to see more Chris Olave, and you guys are going to regret benching him or giving up on him because I think he's a great player and he has the capabilities, and we've seen it before. So that being said, starting Jameson Williams against Arizona. That being said,
you went way around into a circle. Okay.
I mean, let's be honest here. If you look at the in-depth stats, Chris Olave is getting wide open. Top 20 in creating cushion. He can create space. He gets open. They don't need to throw him the ball. They're winning by 40 points. This is more of a situation more than a talent situation. So don't give up on Olave, but start Jameson Williams this week.
But they're not going to be. I mean, we anticipate them not just blowing out the Eagles. I mean, yeah, they just blew out the Cowboys. Sorry, Josh Wingate, but I think
Josh.
this game is going to be a lot closer. The Eagles have a better defense than the Cowboys, the Cowgirls do. So, and they're at home. I could see them still passing the ball late into the game too. So, you can go Jameson Williams. I'll go Chris Olave. I guess we'll just have to find out on Sunday who's right.
In the chat down below, they're watching this short on YouTube. Who are you picking? Who are you going with Sunday?
Yeah.
Because I'm going JMO. This guy over here who doesn't know what he's talking about, who doesn't even know who Rashid Shaheed is, apparently, he's going Chris Olave. That was one of the comments down below.
Was it?
Yeah, like this guy doesn't even know who.
Oh, right. Oh my God, get out of here. Should we talk about the trade offer you sent me earlier today?
I don't remember that trade offer, but we do have a question in the chat. Do you want to get to it before we move on to the running backs?
Yeah. Mahomes or Burrow rest of season? This is not your not your father's Mahomes and Burrow, but yeah, you have to go Mahomes. I mean, yeah, Mahomes is QB 12 right now. Burrow is sitting at 18.
Okay, if my quarterback is doing this on the sidelines
you're talking about week 1. Come on.
I'm just saying if my quarterback's doing this week 1 already, that's pretty scary. Plus terrible hair.
Tore a ligament out.
Terrible hair.
No, his hair is pretty awesome.
Terrible. Awful. And I'm a guy with a bad haircut. That's terrible.
Well,
that's awful.
It's getting longer again.
Running backs. Let's go to the running backs, man. All right, this one was personally chosen by you because you said you wanted to go in on somebody. So we have DeAndre Swift versus the Indianapolis, Najee Harris versus the Los Angeles Chargers. You wanted to go in. Take it in, man.
This is the week. This is the week that we've been waiting for DeAndre Swift. And by we, I mean everybody that drafted no running back in the first 10 rounds of any draft that they drafted. DeAndre Swift is my RB1 in a lot of leagues that I got a lot of value out of way late in like the 13th, 14th, 15th round. He's done absolutely nothing this year. 13 total points on the entire season, 24 rushes for 48 yards. Awful. Do you know who we thought was going to be not that great this year? Joe Mixon. Do you know who else we thought was not going to be that great this year? Josh Jacobs. Do you know who ran all over this Colts defense the last 2 weeks? Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs.
Well, we didn't think they were going to be terrible. We just
we didn't expect him to be good. Like, not the way that they
terrible.
We didn't expect him to go like 150 plus yards on them. Like, a week. And that's exactly what running backs are doing. Add in DeForest Buckner hitting IR on that defensive interior. That is the defensive line right there, DeForest Buckner. The linebacker core for the Colts are not playing well. They have no DBs. This is the week where I'm firing up as many Bears players as I possibly can because the Colts defense is just not good this year. And maybe this is the bounce back they need. The Colts are at home, so that could be a good factor for them. They're coming home from an embarrassing loss to the Green Bay Packers, led by Malik Willis. I think this is a game where Caleb Williams will get his first touchdown pass. I think DeAndre Swift will actually get involved in this game, both in the receiving and the rushing game. Flip side, Najee Harris against the Chargers. That Chargers team is way different under Jim Harbaugh. I think the Chargers end up keeping the ball most of the game, where the Steelers then have to extend. The Steelers are going to have to use Justin Fields in the passing game, which is not going to be great. And I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to the Steelers are going to be able to keep the ball long enough to have Najee Harris get as involved in the game. So this matchup here, I'm going DeAndre Swift no matter what.
Okay. So I did zero research for Swift because I knew you're going to go in, and I knew. So, okay, I was defending my boy Najee, and it's not even my boy. Like, I can't stand Najee Harris. I don't roster Najee nowhere. I don't want to roster Najee nowhere. Najee is just the most boring missionary running back. You can never.
These are almost the same running back. I mean, they both scored 8 points last week. Najee scored 8 points week 1. Like, he is consistent. He is, if he's nothing, he's consistent.
Listen, if you want a running back who's going to get you 19 touches a game, like Najee has, 66% of the snap share or the opportunity share Najee has, a team that runs the ball the second most in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and a running back that can get you a solid 3.9 yards per touch. Najee's your guy. Safe, solid. He's not going to get benched. Doesn't really have any real competition. Jaylen Warren isn't really the thing you guys, or I thought, or you thought. We all thought Jaylen Warren was going to be good. He's not the guy we all thought he was going to be. Now, at least. I don't think the Chargers are going to run away with this game. The Steelers stay in games. That's what Mike Tomlin does. They keep things close. They keep things interesting. It's always a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter. So Najee is not going to get phased out of this offense. And if he does, Najee's shown the ability to catch the ball in the backfield. Now, is Justin Fields going to dump it off? No. I think Najee has 2 catches this season. Literally. 2. That's terrible because Justin Fields would rather run and create yards for himself, which is totally fine because the Steelers are winning games. But same thing is your boy Najee is not getting involved. Whereas DeAndre Swift, on the other side, he has no offensive line. He has a quarterback who has no idea what he's doing. I don't know where Swift's can outscore Najee here. But I do think they're like evenly close. But if you want the safe floor, a guy who's not going to get benched or lose touches or fumble or get phased out like DeAndre Swift always does, I'm going Najee Harris just for this safety factor of I don't want a 0. Give me 8 over a 0. And I think DeAndre Swift can give me a 0, and I don't think Najee will ever give me a 0. That's it. That's all. And I don't want to just disagree with you just for, we're first take, bro. No, this is the reality. I had Najee the entire time.
I just don't think Najee is going to get the same kind of share as he's had the last 2 weeks. Justin Fields is running the ball more and more. And Jaylen Warren had actually the same amount of points as Najee did last week on less than half of his attempts. Wingate, you are literally just killing the show, man.
No, you're not, Wingate. You're doing awesome. Sorry, I'll get more serious.
But DeAndre Swift started off last year slow, and then all of a sudden he bounced, like immediately came out of nowhere. I think they just need to figure out how to use his offense. I understand that's a completely different offensive line between the Eagles and Bears. I'm not discounting that. I'm thinking opportunity here. The Bears can look at exactly what the Texans and the Packers both did and destroy the Colts defensive line. The Colts defensive line is already looking weaker again because of injuries all over the field, actually, with their edge rushers and the defensive tackle. I don't see a thing where DeAndre Swift does worse than he did last week. Najee is going to get you 8 points, great, but I think DeAndre Swift's floor is 8 points. Now, if he fails this week, cut him.
Really?
Yeah.
You're ready to cut DeAndre Swift if he fails this week.
Yeah.
A starting running back in the NFL.
If he cannot produce against the Indianapolis Colts, who are literally starting like practice squad players, he's not going to produce this year.
Okay, fair enough, man. I see your point.
We'll talk about it on Tuesday. How about that?
We'll talk. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. All right, let's get into the tight end portion. We're going to do something different here, so let's get in right to the tight ends. All right, tight ends suck. Kincaid has sucked. Andrews has been underwhelming. Kelce's been droppable. Just name a tight end, they suck. They're just awful. Laporta.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is decent. I like Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is tight end 2 this year.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is doing really good. So we're going to play a game of Kelce because that's kind of the situation we're in right now. I don't want to start Travis Kelce this week. I don't want to start him ever again. If I could, I would drop him everywhere. I dropped him in one league this morning. Did you see which league I dropped him in?
Yep.
The Fins Talk Sports Network, because one, it's a league for fun. And if I'm having fun, I'd rather start someone I want to have fun starting, not Travis Kelce anymore. And 2, because he sucks. Or no, he doesn't suck. I apologize. he's phased out. Rashee Rice has taken over his route tree. I've said this from the first snap of the first game. And I'm like, wait, Rashee Rice just found space there. That's what Kelce used to do. And then we saw the tight end screen where Kelce used to run. It wasn't him. It was somebody else. I believe it was Rashee Rice again. So Rashee Rice is literally taking over Travis Kelce's role. Argue with the wall, buddy, because it's true. And you're going to see it more and more going forward this season. So Travis Kelce is kind of like a break glass in case of emergency tight end, I believe. They're not going to need to use him or want to use him until clutch time is actually there. That's why I'm just giving up on Travis Kelce. There's probably about 13 tight ends I would start over Travis Kelce this week. So I'm curious to see which list we're going to go down and see how far I actually go.
You want me to name the players?
Why not?
All right. So we can start from right at the top. Well, I'm not going to start from the top.
Yeah, start at the top. I'm going to count how many tight ends.
Isaiah Likely or Travis Kelce?
Can you give me the matchups? Because I don't have them in front of me.
Gosh, I don't have these matchups.
All right, that's fine.
If you give me like 30 seconds.
Give him 30 seconds. I would go Isaiah Likely no matter the matchup because of his upside and because he actually is being used. He wasn't used week 2, of course, because we all spent $80,000 of fab on him. And, of course, that's what happens. But he has the capabilities of doing what he did in week 1, where Travis Kelce will never do that. He will never do that. Travis Kelce will never put up what Isaiah Likely put up this in week 1, ever. Likely versus the Cowboys. Likely versus the Cowboys. I'm taking Likely.
Okay. Likely versus the Cowboys. Sorry. Okay. Trey McBride against the Lions or Travis Kelce?
McBride.
Kittle against the Rams or Kelce?
Is Kittle going to play? Is he good? Is he good to go?
Yeah,
if Kittle's good to go, I'm starting because
yet.
Debo's out. Ayuk's been a non-factor. Shocking. So give me Debo. Give me Debo. Give me Kittle.
This one's hard. Laporta against the Cardinals or Travis Kelce?
Laporta. He doesn't seem old and dead.
Dalton Kincaid against the Jaguars or Kelce?
Man, they got to get this guy started up, right? They got to get Kincaid started. Jonnu Smith did pretty well against the Jaguars, I believe. Jonnu Smith is busted. So give me that guy.
Hunter Henry against the Jets or Travis Kelce?
All right. In many leagues last week, I had to start Hunter Henry because Evan Ingram surprisingly. So I had to slot in Hunter Henry. I thought I was getting a zero burger no matter what. Then I watched the Patriots play football, and that's all they have. So give me Hunter Henry. At least he's still making plays. Oh, my goodness.
Mike Gesicki against the Commanders or Travis Kelce?
Baby, let's go. I dropped Travis Kelce in the Finstock Sports Network League for Mike Gesicki. Oh, now Justin's frozen.
Are you back?
Are you back?
That was really weird. Hello?
Hello?
Are you back? Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Are you frozen? We all good? Yeah? We can continue?
Yeah, I'm fine. I never was frozen.
This is gonna be great. Okay. You were for me, and then I was frozen. Your internet is affecting my internet now. Okay, moving on. Kyle Pitts against the Chiefs or Travis Kelce?
Kyle Pitts. People are upset because he didn't score 1,000 points last week, and he did really good week 1. Scored a touchdown. It's going to continue. That was Kirk Cousins in prime time, guys. Let's calm down. Kyle Pitts over Travis Kelce.
Pat Freiermuth against, who did we say the Steelers are playing again? The Chargers or Travis Kelce?
Now we're getting to some territory I don't want to talk about. But this one's a lot closer because Pat Freiermuth is just like, who cares? I think I'm going Kelce.
Okay. And just to test the waters here, see where we are. We got Jonnu Smith against the Seahawks or Travis Kelce.
Kelce, because the Dolphins quarterback situation.
That's where we are. So we're around 9 or 10 for Travis Kelce right now.
Yeah. And as it should be. Not, there was a time where Jason Witten was a must start, and then there was a time where Jason Witten was on the waiver wire. Same could be said for Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez and any other great tight end or any great player ever. You know, there was a time where Adrian Peterson was a must start for 10 years, 8 years, whatever it was. And then there's a time where Adrian Peterson's on the waiver wire. That's the way things work, guys. Travis Kelce is at an age where he should be thinking about hanging it up, and he doesn't need to be fully involved to win football games anymore. He knows his role. His role is a backup secondary player, and that's okay. And it's just not going to produce for your fantasy team this year. And I'm on record of saying that. I don't think he's ever going to produce for you this year. Yeah. But then people tell me, "Oh, Josh, last year he was terrible the first 2 weeks, and then he led the league in points per game as a tight end."
Well, I mean, he didn't play week 1. He scored 12 points week 2. So he did start off actually pretty well for,
yes.
I mean, that'd be tight end, 2 right now in the league with 12.6. Like, the entire tight end position's been bad. And then he went on and scored 19, 12 again, 22, 21, 35.
That was before Rashee Rice.
Tapering off. Yeah. So we might have seen the ceiling for Travis Kelce. And that was 2022. Last year he finished as tight end 3. I don't see him hitting top 5 this year.
Guys, there's a situation where there's always an X, right? Someone or whatever. 2 boats crossing, right? Travis Kelce's on the back end of his career. And the guys like Laporta and those other guys, they're on their way up. You can't start Kelce forever. There is an end game. Nothing lasts forever. And I'm not saying this is the year, but I am saying this could be the year. And that's why I'm trying to get out early. If you still roster him, try to get as much as you can for him. Don't drop him like I did. It was a free league and for fun with all my, all of our guys at the Finstock Sports Network. Gesicki's a former Dolphin. I thought it'd be funny. And plus, Gesicki might outscore Kelce this week. Matter of fact, I wouldn't doubt it if he does.
You heard it here first. Don't start Travis Kelce this week.
Is that it? Is that the whole show?
That's it. Anybody questions out there? Like,
man,
anything?
There's not much going on when I'm not making a lot of terrible jokes. And my time is freezing a lot. I'm going to get this internet situation figured out. I'm going to call Spectrum. I'm going to raise hell because they got to know I got a worldwide famous podcast I got to record every single Tuesday at noon for our Priority Waiver show, every single Wednesday night for our starts and sits, and every single Friday for our whole weekend preview show, and of course our Thursday night recap. So make sure you tune in on Friday at noon. We'll be talking about every single game, every single player to start, every single player to sit, all the injury news, all that fun stuff. If you miss it, that's okay. Go to our Twitter, OUSFF Pod, on X, Instagram, TikToks, YouTubes, anywhere you can find us, man. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.